Here's why Eddie Murphy left Saturday Night Live. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Travis Adonis. Eddie Murphy began performing stand-up comedy around Long Island and New York City in the mid-1970s. After rising up the ranks and perfecting his craft, he caught the attention of some producers of a popular late-night comedy show, Saturday Night Live, was seeking a black cast member for its 1980-81 season. Murphy auditioned for the part of the show a total of 6 times. Robert Townsend and Charlie Barnett were 2 comedians that were almost selected to be part of the cast instead of Murphy. When he finally was selected as a cast member, he spent his first few episodes appearing sporadically throughout the season until one night producers realized that they had 4 minutes of airtime remaining and instructed Murphy to perform some stand-up. The routine he improvised was critically praised, with Rolling Stone calling it masterful. After Murphy's first season of SNL, the majority of the cast and his show creator had departed, but somehow Murphy would end up being one of the 2 that made the cut alongside Joe Piscopo. According to Murphy head writer Michael O'Donoghue, came in and fired everybody except him and Piscopo. When Donoghue fired everybody, he came in and said, the only reason Murphy didn't get fired is because he ate that dog food. Donoghue was referring to a bit where Eddie Murphy's character was shown eating dog food on a segment of Weekend Update. It would later go on to be revealed that Murphy wasn't actually eating dog food, but it was hash instead. Murphy spent a total of 4 seasons on Saturday Night Live from 1980 to 1984, becoming SNL's strongest comedic presence with characters like Mr. Robinson, an urban take of television's Mr. Rogers, and an older version of the Little Rascals character, Buckwheat, and an illiterate convict and poet named Tyrone Green. While on the show, Murphy mastered several impressions including Bill Cosby, Muhammad Ali, James Brown, and Stevie Wonder. Along with the critical praise, Murphy would also receive some backlash on his satirical characterization based on black stereotypes. Murphy defended his performance by stating that his characters are far too absurd and abstract to be taken seriously. Even before Eddie joined SNL, he was signed to the talent agency ICM. Before his SNL season, his new agent attempted to set up meetings for Murphy with several producers and studio executives. However, because he had yet to make his SNL debut, no one knew his potential. According to Deadline, the agent were consistently told that they couldn't hire a black actor in a movie for white audiences. One night, the agent caught the wind that Walter Hill was directing a new film called 48 Hours, but was experiencing casting problems. The film was originally intended to star Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, which would have been their 3rd collaboration together after 1976 Silver Streak and 1980 Stir Crazy. Unfortunately, the 2 actors weren't available and Nick Nolte had signed on to play the black cop. Murphy's agent obviously suggested her client comply Murphy's SNL footage and sent it to head of production at Paramount. Murphy was immediately chosen for the role. It was probably the best thing I've ever done as an agent. It was nice because Eddie knew that it was my suggestion. And that's all I ever cared about, that the client knows that you're trying to do something for him. Hildy Gottlieb, Eddie's agent. 48 Hours received critical acclaim and is considered to be one of the best films of 1982. 48 Hours won and was nominated for several awards, including Eddie Murphy being nominated for a Golden Globe Award for Best Acting Debut Male. And though it's predated by Richard Rush Freebie and the Bean, the film is often credited as being the first in the buddy cop genre, including Lethal Weapon, Bad Boys, and Rush Hour. Just before his 3rd season on SNL, Murphy filmed his debut stand-up comedy special, Delirious, at the Constitution Hall in Washington, D.C. in August of 1983. On the special, Murphy addresses several topics including Laurel ice cream trucks have on children, family get-togethers, parental discipline, Reaganomics, AIDS, and many more. The special received positive reviews and has been cited as seminal stand-up work by fellow comedians. Murphy has gone on record saying that at this point, many people knew him from SNL but had no idea he did stand-up comedy. After the release of Delirious, Murphy began to solidify himself as a force to be reckoned with the industry. He was the star cast member of Saturday Night Live. The year prior, he successfully starred in his first film and had a comedy special that won him a Grammy Award for Best Comedy Album. Eddie Murphy could not miss. That same year, Murphy was slated to appear in the film Trading Places. Just like 48 Hours, it was written with the original intent of having Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. plans halted when Pryor was injured during his freebasing incident and Paramount decided to recast. Murphy's name came up, even though Paramount was hesitant at first due to the studios initially being unhappy with his performance in the then unreleased 48 Hours. But after the test screening received positive reviews, the studio then reversed its decision. Director John Landis was unaware Murphy was gaining popularity on Saturday Night Live, but was impressed with his audition tape and agreed to meet with him. Murphy said he received $350,000 for the movie, but it was also reported that the figure was as high as $1 million. Trading Places was released on June 8, 1983. In its opening weekend, it made $1.7 million, finishing the weekend at number 3 behind James Bond movie Octopussy. The film never claimed the number 1 spot at the box office, but it spent 7 weeks in the top 10 and ended its theatrical run with a total of $90.46 million, making it the 4th highest grossing behind Flashdance, Terms of Endearment, and Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. Trading Places received generally positive reviews upon its release, with reviewers comparing it to the social conscious comedies of the 1930s and the 1940s and praising the entire cast. Arnold Gehry of the Washington Post said that Trading Places was evidence that Murphy's successes was not a fluke and that Murphy demonstrated an exhilarating comic authority. The movie received several awards and nominations, including 2 nominations at the 41st Golden Globe Awards in 1984 for Best Musical or Comedy and Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy for Murphy. Trading Places had an impact on several of its stars' careers. Murphy transitioned from being a TV comedian to a superstar with 2 of the most successful films of that year. Industry experts voted him as the biggest box office star after Clint Eastwood. No other African American actor had achieved a comparable level of success before Murphy. At this point, it was clear that Murphy was bigger than sketch comedy. After Trading Places, Murphy signed a $25 million 5-film contract with Paramount, one of the biggest deals ever with an actor at that time. Paramount also agreed to finance Eddie Murphy's production studio. By his 3rd film, Murphy was able to demand a $3 million salary, and at that time, it was considered a top-tier salary, reserved for the most popular movie stars. The 3rd movie in question was Beverly Hills Cop. In Beverly Hills Cop, Murphy played a street-smart detective, Alex Foley, who visited Beverly Hills, California to solve the murder of his best friend. Like his previous 2 films, the movie had undergone several different structural changes, including story and the film's lead. The movie origin started as a straight action flick with Mickey Rourke attached to star. When he left to participate in another film, other names floated around included Sylvester Stallone, Al Pacino, James Caan, Harrison Ford, and Richard Pryor. When Murphy was brought abroad, the script had several rewrites to make it more of an action comedy and tailor it to Murphy's strengths. The film was budgeted at $14 million for Murphy, but was brought in at a budget of $13 million. Beverly Hills Cop was released on December 5, 1984, debuting at number 1, making a little over $15 million. The movie stayed number 1 for 13 consecutive weeks, ending its run with $316.3 million in total. It quickly became the highest grossing R-rated comedy and held that title for 25 years until The Hangover beat that record in 2009. Beverly Hills Cop received critical acclaim upon its release. Janet Maslin of the New York Times wrote, "Beverly Hills Cop finds Eddie Murphy doing what he does best, playing the shrewdest, hippest, fast-talking underdog in a rich man's world. Eddie Murphy knows what he's doing, and he wins at every turn." Murphy was again nominated for Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture Actor, Comedy or Musical. Murphy was now 3 for 3 when it came to movies. Following the financial and critical success of 48 Hours, Trading Places, and Beverly Hills Cop, and both of his albums Eddie Murphy and Eddie Murphy Comedian Going Gold, Murphy began his rapid rise to fame, and that would eventually lead to Murphy to leave Saturday Night Live, with Murphy saying he had grown to dislike the job and felt he was resented for his success. Murphy expressed this in the 1984 issue of Rolling Stone magazine. Rolling Stone reporter Chris Connolly quoted Murphy saying, "I can't wait to leave. I don't like the show. I don't think the show is funny. I hate it here." On February 25, 1984, Murphy filmed his last episode of Saturday Night Live and would only be appearing in previous recorded sketches for the remainder of the season. At this point, Murphy was also plotting on making his way onto another facet of the entertainment industry. He had just recently recorded Party All the Time with Rick James and was in the process of writing more music, all of this at the age of 22. Murphy wanted to do way more than continue to play the characters that made him famous. We are all aware of Eddie's illustrious movie career in the 80s. After Beverly Hills Cop, he had leading roles in The Golden Child, Coming to America, the respective sequels of Beverly Hills Cop, and 48 Hours. That same year, cast member David Spade offered a quick jab at Eddie's expense by pointing at a picture of Murphy and saying, "Look kids, a falling star, quick, make a wish." It was reported that Murphy contacted Spade the following Monday and expressed his displeasure with the joke, and he also was not pleased with the show's producers and creator, assuming the joke had to be ran by them beforehand. Spade admitted to being dared by the writing staff to go after certain people, and he did, but Spade said it was no hard feelings and that he is a fan of Murphy. Murphy hadn't appeared on the show for nearly 20 years. Audience hadn't seen him on the SNL stage until the 40th anniversary special, where he was introduced by Chris Rock. Then 2 years later, he returned to host for the first time since 1984. His hosting received overwhelmingly positive praises from critics and fans alike. The episode gave the show its best ratings in 2 years, with a total of 9.921 million tuning in for the episode. Murphy even won him his first Emmy Award for Outstanding Guest Actor in the comedy series. When an entertainer with potential joins a series, the producers and executives run the risk of that entertainer leaving to do bigger and better things. On SNL, it happens all the time. The talent of Eddie Murphy speaks for itself, and he's got one of the most illustrious comedy careers in history. We're glad that Eddie Murphy was able to spread his wings and show audiences his full range after leaving SNL, which has led him to become one of the greatest comedic actors of all time. Stay up to date with the latest news and comedy by subscribing here to our YouTube channel. Follow Comedy Hype across all social media, and look out for our original content on our new streaming service at comedyhype.com. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Travis Adonis.